Hi, my name's Vinny. I'm almost 45 years old. I've done drugs for 30 years. I'm currently in a halfway house trying to get sober again. I've been to 17 rehabs, multiple halfway houses, in and out of the hospital my whole life. So it's been rough. It all started with smoking weed and drinking alcohol, of course. By the time I'm 16, I'm already sniffing cocaine, and then I went on to shoot heroin and cocaine by the time I was 31 years old. The way I would take drugs is anywhere from taking pills all the way up to administering drugs, how they give drugs to babies in the hospital, but we won't get into plugging too much. And I also didn't just experiment. Starting from my teens, I took a shitload of ecstasy, MDMA, and ketamine. I'm also dealing with mental health issues, as I still do today, and depression is one of them, and one of the worst. Now, depression is part of bipolar, but bipolar by far takes the cake because of the mania. I would do insane things a lot of times. Of course, we can't forget the constant torture of anxiety all day, every day. Now, toss in some ADHD, and that makes for some pretty crazy headspace. I'm about to tell you a story about probably the craziest and hardest thing I ever had to go through besides hurting my family and other people in society, and it was getting busted by the feds in a sealed indictment back in 2011. We were importing drugs from China. I was the one that started it, so that didn't look good. I passed it on to another guy in the community who was a businessman who said he wouldn't get caught. And sure enough, what had happened. The investigation started with local, county, and state law enforcement. They all started watching us and gave the information over to the Homeland Security Department as well as the DEA. They set up wiretaps with people inside our organization as well as countless informants throughout the city. In the end, the DEA, Homeland Security, arrested not only me, but 22 other people. 10 years ago, obviously, or 11 years ago, I was looking up legal highs on the internet, and I was scared to go out and buy stuff. I didn't know anybody at the time anymore. All my friends were gone. You know how that is. And then basically I started experimenting with these legal highs and ordering them internationally, because at that time they were popular mostly in the UK and China. Started getting small shipments for myself of a few grams that turned into hundreds of grams that turned into multiple kilograms, and a 22-person indictment by the feds. It did not end good, with me getting arrested by the DEA and Homeland Security, about to go into another rehab after I had spent all the money and was just doing drugs around the clock and deteriorating mentally and physically. After about 6 weeks, they released me on pretrial release, and they let me go to a rehab, although they said this is not going to excuse your behavior over here, by the way. So what do? I go to the rehab, and then I take off from the rehab, and the U.S. Marshals have to come get me. So I'm creeping through this local neighborhood, trying to let the cops not see my ass. Bam! Within 24 hours, I'm back in custody with the feds. U.S. Marshals take me back to the local county jail as they tell each other stories and laugh at me for trying to run from a rehab. I'm literally visualizing myself playing Scrabble back in the cell at this point. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but county jail is the closest thing to hell on earth I can think of. So at the end of all this insanity, I ended up getting sentenced to 46 months in prison, 3 years of post-release supervision. After I was sentenced, the sheriffs in the county handed me over to the U.S. Marshals, and I was off to Brooklyn and then southern Pennsylvania to pay for this mess. If you have any other questions regarding what happened in this whole little extravaganza I went through, or there's anything else you want to know about drug addiction and mental health issues along with legal issues, then you can just leave it down in the comments, and thanks for watching.